What's going on YouTube? Welcome to today's video. I am getting very bad with this camera. I forgot to turn the mic on again, so reshooting this intro. You guys are in for a special treat. I'm going to be showing you guys the Q&A that I did with my client Xavi. Xavi is actually a zookeeper, so very physical job, but he was able to lose 20 pounds throughout our 12 weeks, a little bit over that, and then he also was able to gain 2 inches to his thighs and also 1.5 inches to his arms. So we didn't just waste away. He dropped a lot of body fat while gaining a good amount of muscle mass while working this very physical job. So very excited to show you guys this transformation. Well, also you can see it visually right here. But when we did our Q&A, I do them usually Tuesday nights around 8 p.m. Eastern. When I did this one with him, we had a little bit of technical difficulties. We got cut off halfway through. Instagram kicked us off or something. And when I did the screen cap, I only got the last part, which is actually the majority of it. But the first two questions that we went over, just how were you with your fitness goals before the program? He told me he had been training already, strength training for 2 years, wasn't seeing too much in terms of results, so he felt he was spinning his wheels, putting in all this time and effort, but not really getting anywhere, not getting the results that he felt his time deserved. And that's before he started the program. And then how he found me was the second question, and he found me through a previous client, Dennis. His transformation, his Q&A inspired Xavi to reach out, apply for the program, and then of course he went through and had a great experience. So it's kind of cool that this whole, I guess, process went full circle. Xavi was inspired by Dennis and his Q&A, his transformation, and now hopefully he can inspire some other people to get started with their own transformation. So if anyone watching this video, if you watch this, see Xavi's experience or see some of my other client testimonials, go to Hejnasty Coaching on Instagram. If you would like to apply for the 12-week Healthy Flesh prescription, you can go to hejnasty.com/coaching, fill an application, and we'll get on a call real soon. But without further ado, let's get into this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
All right, so where we were, why did you decide to start? What was that final straw? And you said it was kind of like, you saw one more person get some results, and you were like, I'm tired of not making that commitment and not getting a well-structured plan to get where you wanted to go, right?
Right, yeah. It was just like, I think it was just like seeing like Dennis's transformation and seeing that it was in 12 weeks time just like made me realize in 12 weeks time, I've done those 12 weeks like for already like 2 years, and I've done nothing like results wise. So I was like, I need to do something different. So I think that was it.
Awesome, awesome. Then you joined the program, and now look where you're at 12 weeks later.
Yeah.
So what did you learn throughout the program? Like what, I guess specifically in terms of like fitness, what do you feel you learned throughout it?
Oh, I learned so much. I learned so much, like from like my nutrition and diet to stuff at the gym. Like I was always super scared of doing complex movements. Like I was terrified of it, just like doing squats and doing like bench press. Like I honestly thought I just wasn't strong enough to do it. And slowly but surely I started putting on more weights. And then like just counting my calories, that was a huge change. And I think I'm just going to continue doing that as much as I can for as long as I can.
Yeah. And I really liked, in one of my previous lives, we were talking about just having, like, especially with tracking macros for, like, a 12-week period, and just, like, having that kind of ingrained into you. It's like you're no longer unaware of, like, what your intake is. So you're always kind of in the driver's seat. And it's like, all right, I had, like, 3 slices of pizza. We need to chill out or we're going to gain some weight. And it's like you can't, like, of course, what is it? Thermodynamics don't care about your feelings. So, like, now that you're aware, it's like you're going to see, am I going to gain weight from my caloric intake, or can I actually like bring things back? And you're always going to be cognizant of where you're at. So I think that's a value to you. And you said you want to actually continue tracking with MyFitnessPal.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, absolutely. And then one other thing that like, it was actually you who like ingrained this like quite a lot. It was avoid the guilt. What was it? The guilt trip. Like, let's say you go on a binge, and I did, not gonna lie, like birthday week, that was pretty rough. Like I would go and do this, and you were like, just don't look at it as like, you know, you need to do like 1,500 like calories running or something like that. Just like blank slate, start over again. And honestly, I think that helped out a lot, because I wouldn't ever keep up with it, you know?
Yeah, and I've seen that time and time again. It's like if like one person very successful, like let's say like 6 to 8 weeks, they're making that progress, and then all of a sudden like they have like one bad day, and then they try to overcorrect it like the next day. Oh, they ate 1,000 extra calories, so they want to do 1,000 calories or eat 1,000 calories less the next day, and then what happens is the next weekend they have the same thing happen, and they're like, well, I gotta fix it again, and then it just becomes a cycle, and it starts becoming the norm. So it's really good that we kind of like took that approach to where, all right, we're just gonna forget what happened yesterday, get back on the plan. We'll be back there in a week or two, and we're just gonna make sure that we're gonna get back to making the long-term results as opposed to really falling off the wagon. So I'm really happy we were able to do that because, I mean, birthdays are once a year. So
yeah, that was more than one occasion for sure. But like, that was another surprising thing about the program was that like I definitely had several setbacks throughout the program. And like, I still was getting like the results. That was just like so surprising to me. Like, I was like, well, I screwed up. I guess I have to give up now. But like, it was still like the ball was still rolling, even throughout those setbacks. So.
Exactly. You don't have to be perfect, but you have to be good enough. Which
right.
Definitely we showed that with the right foundations, fundamentals in place. As long as you get those right 95% of the time, then you're going to be in a good spot. But we talked about what you learned in terms of fitness, but what did you learn maybe about yourself through the last 12 weeks?
I think I changed a lot about my like day-to-day routines. So like I didn't really like have any sort of like good routine, I guess, like before the program. Like I guess I would like just get up, maybe have breakfast, definitely have coffee, go to work. Like nothing like that was like solid, because like usually I do like most of the stuff like before mornings now. So like once I started the program, I became like so much more of a morning person. Like I like wake up, I go work out, like I do like so many more things in the morning. I wake up like 3 or 4 hours earlier than I was like last year. So I think that's one huge change that I really didn't even know I could do. Like I was a night owl, so now I'm a night owl, but on the other end of the night. But it's been good.
Yeah, and I've seen, especially like with myself, I'm so much more productive, or I can get such a better day if I get the things that I would usually do 8 to 12 p.m. If I do those instead, like 5 to like 9 a.m., I'm done all those things. I don't have them holding over my head, my workout and all those things. Then I'm just able to go from 9 a.m. until, let's say, 8 p.m. Those are the real productive hours of the day, and I don't have anything held over my head. Just able, I'm already awake, and I can just kick ass. So I really like that. So I'm glad that you picked that up and were able to make that change for yourself. Quick thing in the comments, I saw 2 people, they said they want to join the program. You can go to hejnasty.com/coaching. You can put in an application. We'll see if it's a good fit, get you rolling ASAP. Or you just go to my bio, and the link is right there. So if anyone's interested, just check that out. My next question is, well, actually, I want to go in depth on this. Usually I want to ask like where you are now, but I want to actually kind of sing your praises a little bit with where you are. Off the top of my head, I have a couple things, but let me pull it up. So on day one, we started out 153 pounds, and the goal was to, again, get that fat loss, really get that aesthetic look. And usually when people come to me, they may be skinny fat or they got a little extra. They're like, all right, we want to gain some mass. So, like, let's gain 10 pounds and I want to get abs. I'm like, wait a minute, we got to bring down body fat. And that comes off a lot quicker because you gained a lot of muscle, but you lost 20 pounds. But visually, you look so much more muscular because of that leanness. So in terms of progress, so we went from 153 down to about 132 pounds. So lost 20 pounds. And during that time, added, let me see, 6 months. So went up from 11.5 to just under 13 inches on your right bicep, and then also on the left, also gained about 1.5 inches in 12 weeks, which is nuts, especially someone training 2 years. Also, in terms of legs, this was crazy. Went from 17.5 to 19.5, and then also 17.5 to 19 and almost 3/4. So gained a lot of muscle while still dropping 20 pounds. So you lost a lot of circumference of body fat, and you had to gain even more muscle to get the measurements to move that way. So I just wanted to sing your praises real quick. And then also, because this will come into play later, how far we had to dig in terms of macros. I think we brought you up a little bit. You were in a good spot with your metabolic rate. Do you remember like how deep we had to dig macro wise?
Like how low we went, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think the lowest that we did was like 1800, maybe like 200 for carbs, like 40 for fat, and then 150 for protein.
Okay, yeah. So 40 fat, 200 carb, about 150 protein. 150 protein is still there now, and about if I had to math that out, yeah, that was about 1750. Because right now we bumped things up a little bit because you got real lean. So
yeah.
Let's gain some muscle from this point. And you had a really good starting spot for a good lean bulk to gain 5 to 10 pounds over a long period of time. So great work there. Of course, I want to give everyone the context of like what it takes to get where you want to go. You actually had a very good functioning metabolic rate, higher than a lot of people to make a 20-pound drop. So doing that at 1750 is really a good spot to be at. I think we brought cardio to what, about 1,000 or 1,500? You froze a little bit.
Can you see me? Am I good?
You back?
Am I good?
Yes, you are back.
Okay.
So where did cardio go to? 1,000 or 1,500?
We were actually just sitting on 500, and I was like losing weight pretty fast, even with just the 500. I never went up over that, thankfully.
So many of my other clients are so jealous. Like Kev was 1,200 and 2,000. A couple other instances were like 1,400 and 2,000. So that is really awesome that we made that happen. But I think a big play into that, like not having to dig so far with cardio, your NEAT, your non-exercise active thermogenesis, just how much movement you were getting throughout the day with your physical job.
Right.
I think that was good.
Definitely.
So that was very good for you. So where are you? Of course, we talked about physically and where we had to dig nutrition-wise, but where are you now in terms maybe of like confidence? Where are you now in terms of like how you're feeling?
I think I'm at like that point where I'm just like I know that this was like the beginning of something different. So I'm just like really excited to see what goes on after this. Like just learning how to do more things, like how to manage it all, or continue to manage it. Like I still struggle when I'm like going on like road trips and stuff like that. So like learning how to get a handle on that, getting a handle on like post night outs or stuff like that. I still have like a lot to learn. Definitely getting like more muscle in general, just learning how to do more exercising in the gym. There's still a lot to do, I feel like, but I'm glad this was a good first 12 weeks of learning. Yeah.
Good. Now you have the foundations. You have the foundation down to, of course, like take things from here and just kind of build on those. Of course, now you understand calories, you understand training volume. So, of course, the sky's the limit from here. And there's always progress to be made. I'm 10 years deep, and there's so much progress for me to make. So, next thing I want to go into is what was your go-to meal? Because a lot of people struggle cutting their calories down. What was your go-to meal that helped you adhere to hypocaloric state?
Okay. This is going to be like super weird, but like this is one thing that one of my friends suggested, because like I use a lot of like protein powder day to day, just because like that would be like so much chicken or tuna. Otherwise, like 150 grams of like protein is way too much for that. So I just started using like a lot of protein powder. And at first I was doing like protein powder and water, and it tasted awful. It was like, I just hated it. And then like one of the other clients suggested almond milk and protein powder, and it tasted amazing. And then this one other friend that I worked out with, she was like, oh, you can actually mix protein powder with your yogurt.
Yes.
And then that became like my number one meal. Like I eat it almost every single day, because there's so much that you can like mix with it. Like I do like frozen strawberries or like granola. I do the PB2, the powdered peanut butter. I add it to that as well, just for like a different taste. Like there's so many different things to do with that. I think that was my number one go-to meal, was yogurt, protein powder, and then whatever add-ons I wanted to add.
Was it Greek yogurt?
It was, yeah. It was like like Walmart's like my place. So like I usually do like uh Greek yogurt, like non-fat, because like I always like try to shoot for like the lowest fat possible.
That's
Um,
like 50 grams of protein right there, like a skewer.
oh yeah, it's a fuck ton of protein. I just like to like bang it out like at the very beginning of my day, not have to worry about it, and then I can do carbs and fat. I can like just breathe too long and then I gain fat. Like you can find carbs everywhere else. So
You can always drink olive oil if you need.
right, yeah, exactly.
All right. So what was your go-to vegetable throughout this? Because I mean, of course, I don't think you're mixing too many vegetables with your Greek yogurt and chocolate protein powder. But
Right.
go-to veggie?
My go-to veggie, I always do like frozen veggies just because it's easier to, they store a whole lot longer. My go-to was probably between like broccoli and Brussels sprouts. I really like those two quite a
Okay.
bit.
Everyone says broccoli. I just get frustrated. I had broccoli today. Didn't like it too much. But
Oh, really?
frozen
Yeah.
sprouts is refreshing.
Yeah, I just do like between the two, I do quite a bit. I also do those like mixes, like vegetable mixes that you can like find at Walmart. Um, those are pretty good. I just like follow whatever amount of calories that they say. It's usually like a certain amount of calories per package. So I just like divide it by two and have that throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it works out.
Gotcha. Yeah, those the steamable bags of vegetables in the freezer section.
Yeah, that's like half of my freezer right now.
Same. Mine is actually like frozen strawberries for like these, but
Oh yeah. Yep.
so what is your? Because again, we talked about, and your goal was like getting that aesthetic look, which actually took us taking a fat loss phase. So for
Yep.
you, what is your best tip for other people to adhere to lower calories? So other people in a similar situation that you were in, what is the one take-home thing you can get people like, hey, do this, and you're probably going to get to that. Oh man, it's freezing. Oh, cool. So, can you hear me?
Freezing up a little bit. Okay,
What's
now
that?
now we're good.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So, what is your biggest tip for other people that want to lose some weight, drop some fat?
I would say just like I started doing like my groceries online, and I think that was like a really huge thing that really helped me out. So I shop at Walmart at all times. So like now you can do like Walmart pickups, and you can just do all your groceries online and then go pick it up. And I think that helped me out a lot because like when you're at a grocery store, you'll like see like get this bag of chips and you're like, oh, it's on clearance, I gotta take it. And it just adds on to like all the stuff that you know you're gonna add like in your intake at some point, some day of the week or whatever. Like let's say you had a bad day and you're like gonna break out that bag of chips. And
Yeah.
I think like doing like my groceries online just like limits myself on like, yes, I'm definitely gonna buy some snacks, but like I can restrain myself a little bit more because it's not like thrown in my face like I would like at a grocery store. It's not the easiest thing to do because not everyone can grocery shop online. But if you have the option, that's definitely something that you should consider for sure.
Okay. Yeah, that's actually a really interesting tip. Like I haven't heard anyone say like, hey, like do the groceries, but like when I'm thinking of it, it actually makes a lot of sense because usually when you're walking around or even when you're checking out, it's like, oh, look at all these candy bars.
Right.
Snickers looks pretty good right now.
Yeah.
Honestly, for me, I usually end up like buying a protein bar and like a protein Nesquik and like a Powerade Zero. But honestly, for my budget, like it's not good to spend $8 on like a meal and walking around ShopRite.
Yeah.
But whatever works. But what I want to do next is I got one more question. But everyone who's got questions for Xavi, again, he's working a physical job. He made this amazing transformation. If you guys have any questions for him, please put those down below. I see that Alex just gave us a very crucial and important question, which we'll handle in a little bit. So anyone else, questions down below, give them for Xavi. My next question, oh, my mom just texted me. Hi, Mom. So my next question is going to be just we talked about what's your best tip for people that want to lose weight. I guess like what is your best tip for people that want to adhere to like low calories? So kind of a similar question, but just adhering with low calories. So like maybe food selection that helped you.
Okay. I started like replacing a lot of like different food items. So like a really easy example is like instead of buying like bagels, I started buying bagel thins. That's like a really easy example.
Cinnamon
Um,
raisin?
I always try to look for them, and they never have them. They almost never
So
have the
good.
bagel. Yeah, those bagel things, they go like freaking hotcakes. Like, um, and like that's just one example. Like tortillas, like I buy tortillas like every freaking week. So like I like restrain myself. I don't go for the flour. I started buying pita bread, which is like pretty similarly tasting, and I really like pita bread. Um, Started making my own foods. So like I bought like hummus every single week, like Sabra hummus, red pepper every single week. I just started making my own. I just bought like a microprocessor to like whatever, like blend all this stuff. Um, Garbanzo beans in there, like, and it was just like a healthier options because it reduces the amount of fat content by
Okay.
not putting as yeah, it's like it just reduces the fat content because like that was my biggest restriction throughout like my program was the fat content. So I just focused on stuff that had like less fat
Gotcha.
usually.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to like get on Amazon, get a microprocessor, and start making my own hummus because
Yeah, it was so easy. It was like 5 minutes. You pour everything into a processor and it's done. Um,
Alrighty, so definitely I'm keeping that in my list in my head. But we got some important questions. The first one is going to be from Hungry and Unbreakable. That is Alex, who was also on one of these a couple weeks ago. Actually, I think it was like last week. So what's up, Alex? But he asked, Xavi, what's up, man? You made awesome gains. Did you eat lots of pizza?
I didn't eat actually that much pizza. I definitely had it. Like, don't get me wrong. Honestly, I think I had more cake than I had pizza. Mardi Gras season is a huge season for cake. If you've ever been to New Orleans, that's kind of a thing. Definitely a lot of cake. No,
Mardi
not
Gras,
a
it's
lot.
hard to lose weight in Mardi Gras.
It's really hard to lose weight in Mardi Gras, that's for sure. Nope, sorry, not a ton of pizza.
All right,
Cake.
during my cuts, I incorporate pizza, but I do, as you said, the substitution, the pita pizzas. If you get the company that I look for is called Best, and then Best pitas, they're 80 calories a pita. Then you put on low-fat cheese and like tomato sauce, they're going to be like 200 calories before you put on some like chicken and get your protein done. So
Yeah, I heard there was like really easy ways of like just finding some low calorie like carb or not carb friendly, like macro friendly like pizzas out there. Like just switch out like the pepperoni like sausage, do like turkey sausage instead. Mozzarella cheese, I think it's one of those that has like really low fat.
if you get the
Uh,
2% or the skim, oh,
oh yeah.
get 2%. Like I've had fat-free cheese and it's awful. It doesn't
Oh
melt.
really? Oh, okay. Yeah, I've never had it, so that's a good that's a
Like
good
cheese
point.
is one of the few things where low fat is definitely better than no fat.
Okay.
So we got a question from Alana. That's a hard one to read. Alana. No. I work out 5 days a week, eat small amounts, and I still have no muscle and no abs. Zavi, what do you think about that?
Um, she's probably not eating enough is my first thought. Second thing is probably like maybe she's doing like too many reps of like this one weight. I don't know. It would have to depend on like what she's like trying to focus on. Like maybe it's like the amount of reps, the amount of weight that she's doing,
Yeah,
how
it could
long
be
she's at the gym.
Yeah, it could be very individual, so probably we definitely need more information on that. When you work out 5 days a week, it depends what you're doing at the gym. If you're doing mainly your strength training or are you doing just a lot of cardio at the gym and eating small amounts, that's kind of relative to each individual. Like eating small amounts for Kevin Greco was 1,200 calories a day. Eating small amounts for Xavi is 1,700. Eating small amounts for me is 2,600. So it's all relative. And
Right.
so everyone kind of has different amounts. So if you're taking a small amount in someone else's perception, it may not be a small amount for you. So definitely have to see what that is. Some other things could be like your protein intake as well. having no muscle, if you're doing a lot of strength training, you definitely can't make muscle with just carbs and fats alone. You need protein in there. But definitely, if your goal is abs, probably calorie deficit, but definitely probably need more information. I would probably recommend getting a coach. Shameless plug.
Yep.
But Luis asked us, he asked you, Xavi, did you do any ab workouts, body weight or anything? Because also your abs are popping, I think he's trying to say. But what did you do any kind of ab workouts throughout?
I did. So like halfway through the program, I was starting to have like some back issues, not related to the program. It was just stuff that was from work. And then Kevin suggested started doing the McGill 3.
Yes.
You can look it up on YouTube. It's like super useful. Like I've been doing it like every other day probably. And I've noticed like a huge difference, like from like my physique to like how strong, like I can hold planks longer. I can actually hold a side plank now. So but I struggled a lot with that in the beginning, but
Because he makes you do 3 minutes of them.
yeah, it's like intense. But it's good. I really enjoy like doing it. It's not, at first it's kind of hard, but then it's like, okay, like it's just a thing to do.
100%, yeah. And so I think I said this during the Q&A I did a little bit before this, but like for me, it's towards the end of like my priorities, like doing direct ab training. But the McGill 3, because it's not just going to build your abs, make them a little thicker and for aesthetic purposes, but for lower back safety, because I think Xavi and me, just if you're relatively taller, it's going to be good to make sure, just bulletproof your spine, make sure that it's strong, the muscles around it, surrounding it, are going to be strong, so you never have those lower back injuries. Especially Xavi's like picking up stuff all day long. He's picking up rhinos, throwing giraffes. So he's really got to have that strong lower back to not get hurt.
Yep.
All right. So I think that pretty much does it for the questions that we have. Thank you everyone for giving those questions. But I guess that's pretty much going to do it for this Q&A. So thank you so much, Xavi, for joining me for this one. Do you have any, I guess, final things to say? Any final remarks?
No, not really. Like, just thank you. Like, I definitely wouldn't have gotten this far, and I'm just like excited for what's to come now. Yep.
Awesome. And I heard, I guess this is a good question to end on. What's next for you? So I remember we talked. I think I have an idea of what your future goals are, but what is next for you? What are the things that you're focusing on in terms of your fitness moving forward?
Yeah, so I'm probably gonna continue doing like a mini cut just because like I kind of like had a few like bumps on the road towards like the end of the program. So I'm probably gonna continue doing the cut a little bit longer until I reach like a certain weight, and then I'll start bumping it up. So starting a bulk. That's going to be new to me, so that's going to be a whole new like learning process. But I think the next goal will be just learning all the things about a bulk. Yep.
Awesome. All right. So best of luck with that bulk. I'll be talking to you a little bit after. Make sure that you have everything you need to keep you successful in that lean bulk. But again, thank you so much for doing this Q&A with me. And then everyone, anyone who watched and wants to apply for the program, go to hejnasty.com/coaching, fill out an application, and we'll get back to you. Make sure it's a good fit. But until then, thank you again, Xavi. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next week for the next Q&A. So everyone, have a good night.